If you're a true Dwayne Johnson fan, then you'll probably remember his tutu-wearing days back in 2010's Tooth Fairy. Now, if you told us back then that he'd be gearing up to star in one of the biggest superhero franchises ever, we probably wouldn't have believed you. But here we are, anxiously waiting for Black Adam. And here's everything you need to know about him before DC's newest film hits the big screen. First up, let's see who exactly is this Black Adam fellow. It's not every day one of the biggest stars, both literally and figuratively, decides to join the super world. So when Dwayne Johnson became a part of DC's extended universe, it was a pretty big deal. And while some of you might know the comic world inside out, you gotta admit with so many live-action comic book movies coming out, it's officially getting difficult to keep all the heroes and villains straight, especially if you're not a comic nerd. But don't worry, we're here to put all your superhero woes to bed, starting with The Rock's newest and quite possibly his biggest role on screen. Super History 101 is in session. So we follow Black Adam all the way back to 1945. Talk about a long time coming, huh? Anywho, this is when Otto Binder introduced the character to the world of comics. FYI, he's the guy behind all things Shazam. Yeah, DC didn't come into the picture until the 90s. The studio revamped this Black Adam guy back then, but it's only now that they've decided to give us a movie about him. That's enough for the history lesson. Let's move on to the juicy part, his origin story. Okay, so Black Adam wasn't always this big main character. In fact, he was supposed to be just a one-off villain in the original comics, but then DC came up with a bigger, much more complex story for him instead of just painting him as a simple black and white bad guy. So they didn't retire him, but ended up turning him into a full-blown arch nemesis. That isn't the most interesting part about his origin story, though. You see, Black Adam was a pretty okay guy before things went south. In fact, did you know he actually protected people? A real shocker, we know, but he wasn't always bad. So how did he get from being a superhero to an anti-villain? We'll have to go back a couple of thousand years for that. We all know Billy Batson Shazam thanks Zachary Levi, but there was a Shazam before him who, get this, chose Black Adam as a successor. Yep, he was supposed to carry the Shazam name forward, and he would have done it if his family hadn't been murdered and his homeland wasn't destroyed. Turns out, behind all that anti-hero bravado is a sad man who lost pretty much everything, and that's what set him off on a killing rampage. Of course, comic book Shazam stopped him just in the nick of time and trapped him in a magical scarab. You heard that last part right. Black Adam isn't going to be another one of your average white heroes, or in this case, anti-hero. DC's newest character is from Egypt. We bet Johnson's excited to revisit some pyramids, although we gotta say we're glad he won't be a super CGI'd scorpion from The Mummy Returns. Up next, what are Black Adam's powers? As far as heroic abilities go, Black Adam pretty much hit the jackpot, because he's got an extensive list of superpowers. From super speed and super strength to wisdom and knowledge, he's got it all. We almost forgot to put in the fact he's bulletproof and has incredible stamina. We mean, if anyone could use Steve Rogers' "I can do this all day" line, it'd be him. But then again, fans would know Shazam's got all these powers as well. But what you guys probably didn't know is that Shazam used his powers to call on Greek gods, while Johnson's Black Adam chose to call on the gods of Egyptian myth like Shu, Amon, Heru, and Zahudi. Guess we'll get to brush up on our Egyptian mythology for a change. Moving on, what can we expect from the movie? We all know that DC likes to take some liberties when it comes to live-action movies. Unfortunately, there's very little we know about Black Adam the movie for now. We'll have to wait and see just how much the comics make it into the movie. For now, we know that the film will be a spin-off and a sequel to 2019's Shazam, but it won't be anything like the superhero flick. We mean, Shazam has many things, but it most definitely wasn't dark, and DC has been fully embracing its dark roots with movies like The Joker and The Batman. So don't hold your breath for laughable moments when you watch Black Adam. It's likely it won't have many. It's gonna be a brutal, dark origin story of one of the franchise's oldest bad guys. Other details about the film are pretty much the way we explained, but judging from the synopsis, we do know that Black Adam will be freed from his scarab, ready to unleash his own idea of justice. And let us tell you, his idea of justice isn't always straight as an arrow, and his sense of morality, let's just say it's often a bit more flexible. Now, let's check out The Rock's look as Black Adam. If you've seen your fair share of Dwayne Johnson movies, then you know he essentially plays himself in almost all of them. At this point, we're pretty sure someday he'll play himself in a superhero movie, but it looks like Black Adam will be different. We mean, he's not playing a dude in the jungle, so we're already halfway there. The star shared his first look at the anti-hero a couple of months ago, and he didn't disappoint. You can see him standing tall in all the Moonchrome glory, in his full gear looking about as big as ever. And that's saying something considering big is his MO. You can head over to the official Instagram account and check it out for yourself. Now, comic book fans are going to be super thrilled about his look, because it matches up with a traditional comic outfit, which basically mirrors Shazam's uniform, with the whole lightning bolt running down the chest and everything. The only difference is, instead of being bright red and yellow, Black Adam sports a darker version of the supersuit. Gotta love it when studios stick to the original thing. Nothing beats that. The picture was pretty intense, without any traces of Johnson's eye thing either. That might have been the most serious we've ever seen The Rock, and he didn't hold back when it came to the caption either. He wrote, "Rage against the dying light." That's about as dramatic as it gets. But the real and only takeaway was the bit about the hierarchy in the DC universe will change. And boy, do we have questions. What changes are we talking about here? From what we can tell, he'll shake things up far beyond Shazam's control. Is DC setting up the stage for another big team-up? Speaking of, there'll be a team of supers in Black Adam. Remember how we said Black Adam might be too big of a threat for Shazam this time around? Yeah, well, he will be, and to help take him down, town, Billy might be teaming up with something called the Justice Society of America, or JSA for short. Essentially, it's a superhero band like the Avengers or the Justice League, but it doesn't involve Superman or Wonder Woman or anyone from that team. The JSA brings completely new heroes to the table like Atom Smasher and Dr. Fate. If that's got you excited, wait till you hear who's playing the role of the newest supes in town. You'd think DC would have called it a day after casting Dwayne Johnson. The guy does have some undeniable star power, but he isn't the only big star in the upcoming flick. Turns out the movie has a pretty star-studded cast, starting with the timeless Bond, aka Pierce Brosnan. He'll be playing Dr. Fate. Who would have thought that Brosnan of all the people would end up being in a superhero movie? Can't say we're complaining. He'll be a heroic sorcerer. Dr. Sorcerer, ring any bells? We hope this one doesn't crack upon the multiverse. Joining him will be the Netflix's sweetheart, Noah Centineo. He went straight from To All the Boys I've Loved to DC's Black Adam. Now that's a jump. He'll be playing Atom Smasher from the JSA. Now his name might have the word Smasher in it, but his power is far from beyond smashing. From what we know, he can rewire his body to become stronger and in some cases even taller. Noah isn't the only one making a jump from the small screen to the big screen. Euphoria's Quintessena Swindell will also be joining the awesome team-up as Cyclone. Their powers? They'll have the ability to control the wind. Pretty apt name, don't you think? And that about wraps up our video for today, folks. Black Adam's set to hit the theaters this year on October 21st. Will Johnson become DC's biggest hit? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one!